It's 7 o'clock, and I would like to go ahead and get started with our meeting for this evening. Before we do, I ask everybody, men, gentlemen, please remove your hats. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. Let's take the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas. One state. I screwed it up. I'm sorry. Hold on. I messed up. Let me do this over again. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas. One state, under God, one and indivisible. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to apologize. That's the hardest pledge that I have, and please forgive me. Will y'all please remain standing, please?
If you were David, you wouldn't have a problem.
Right. I'm going to ask Pastor Charlie, the Big Creek Cowboy Church, to lead us in the invocation, please.
Would you bow your head, please? Holy Father, thank you for this time we have together this evening, and thank you for this wonderful meal that you provided for us, and Miss Sharon's banana pudding. Father, help us to make a difference in this country. Somewhere, somehow, many have forgotten what this nation was founded on. Every day we see our freedoms and our liberties being taken away from us. We have lost our direction, Father. Lead us back into where we once were. A nation that stood above others with godly principles. Teach us to work together, not against one another. Let us unite, starting in our townships, our counties, our state, and our nation. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Brother Charlie. Appreciate it. Can y'all hear me back there? Yes. I don't need a PA system. I got a loud enough voice, so I'm sure all y'all can hear me. First, I want to apologize to everybody here this evening. I'm usually a little bit better dressed, but me and Dwayne and Leon, where you at, Leon? Oh, three of us were country cooking today, so please forgive me in the mess, and I normally look a whole lot better. Before I get started, there are a few things I want to discuss real quick, because there's some people that are elected officials, and I'd like to announce that are here this evening. So would they please stand and be recognized by this committee as I call their names. Well, y'all know about Wife Kelly Summers. She's a tax assessor for the county. Raymond Coppin, Commissioner Precinct 1. Sam Houston, Constable Precinct 3 for Center County. Casey Jones, 411 District Judge. Eddie Lowry, he is from Liberty County Precinct 3 Commissioner, and we do appreciate you being here this evening, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other elected officials that I may have forgotten, please forgive me if I have. Tonight I'm going to introduce the guest speaker. Some of y'all know him, some of y'all may not. But before I do, I want to take a few minutes to let you know that the Nick Carter that I know, and how good he is to everybody that I know, including myself. And Nick has talked to me over the years. I found that I can relate to him in so many different ways. And I'm sure, hopefully after this evening, you can as well. First thing I found out about Nick, that I didn't realize he was a Navy veteran, but he is. 3 tours of Vietnam. And so that took a lot of bravery on his part at that time. So I really related to him as being a veteran, but more I come to respect him at the time that he served. Now, as most of y'all know, military, they teach you 2 things, leadership skills and command skills. And as he got out of the military, he took that into the civilian world and applied it to his everyday life. He is a veteran. He was a post commander for the Veterans of Foreign Wars. Let's see, make sure that it's in here. Yes, he was. I want to make sure I got it. He was a Texas State Director for the Voice of Democracy program for the Veterans of Foreign Wars Department of Texas. He's a devout Catholic and a devout Christian. He is a member of the St. Jerome Catholic Church, about a 6,000 family church congregation. He has been a board member for the National Association of Parliamentarians. He also served as a board of directors for the Holy Name Retreat Center, which is a Christian's band and 12-step weekend retreat organization. He currently serves as the National Secretary for the National 42 Players Association, which most recently guided the HCR, which is a bill 84 through the state legislature naming 42 official state game of the state of Texas. The bill was signed by Governor Perry in 2011, June 17th. Nick also was a voting box precinct 5 chairman. He was a precinct county 3. He was also the vice chair of the San Jacinto County Republican Party. But most important is he's an entrepreneur. Nick has formed over his years and acquired 7 different businesses throughout his career. And in 1980, he became the San Jacinto County and discussed moving a manufacturing company to the county. Ladies and gentlemen, I can relate to him so many ways. I'm sure most of y'all probably do too. But it's my honor and privilege to introduce to you our guest speaker, Mr. Nick Carter.
I was told one time that I had a little hearing problem, so I went down and I got me some newfangled hearing aids, and now I hear myself so loud, I'm not sure how loud I'm talking. And because of that, they put a lavalier on me. I want to start tonight by doing something a little different. I want to start tonight by talking about what happened on Memorial Weekend, just a couple of weeks ago. You know, the Republican Club had planned to do a 10 o'clock on Saturday memorial service at the courthouse in front of the Veterans Monument that's there. And then they also planned to do one on Monday at 10 o'clock, which would actually be Memorial Day. At 10 o'clock on Saturday, the Republican Club was there. They had the mics. It was a relatively short ceremony, but there was also a bike show and a car show going on. And many people stopped, paid attention, took their hat off while the prayer went on, and truly, our fallen heroes were memorialized that day in the midst of a busy schedule. But then afterwards, the American Legion came up and told Mike that they had planned an 11 o'clock on Monday ceremony at the same location. And Mike, I'm going to give him a lot of credit here, did not argue. He said, thank you. And with Ike Eisenhower's help, we had heard that there was a war memorial, Veterans Memorial, sitting in front of the fairgrounds that had fallen into complete disrepair. Had grass this high, the ropes on the pole weren't very good. And so on Sunday, a group of the Republican Club went down and cleaned it up. They mowed it, they weeded it, and they actually did the work. And at 10 o'clock on Monday, we actually had a memorial service at that memorial. What was best is the cars that stopped and people got out. People we didn't know, but they knew it was Memorial Day weekend. And they came over, and we had a very short ceremony, a couple of very short speeches. Charlie probably did one of the shortest prayers I've ever heard him do. And then it was finished with my wife singing Amazing Grace a cappella. I can tell you, I, at that point, was never so proud to be a member of the Republican Club in San Jacinto County. What I saw was true leadership in action. Not talking about it, not beating on her chest, not doing any of that, actually getting out in the community and doing something. And that's the kind of leadership that we're going to have in San Jacinto County to turn our county around. But I just want to take a minute to compliment these fellows because they did it. He was dressed like that on Saturday. I was not going to do this, but I figured I might as well. I got something on the internet today, and I don't often just start off with reading, but I wanted to read this to you. A teacher asked her 6th grade class how many of them were Obama fans. Not really knowing what an Obama fan was, but not wanting to be liked by the teacher, all the kids raised their hands except for little Johnny. The teacher asked little Johnny why he had decided to be different again. Little Johnny said, because I'm not an Obama fan. And the teacher says, why aren't you an Obama fan? And Johnny said, because I'm a Republican. So the teacher asked him, why are you a Republican? And little Johnny answered, well, my mom's a Republican, my dad's a Republican, so I'm a Republican. Annoyed by this answer, the teacher asked, well, if your mom was a moron and your dad was an idiot, what would that make you? And little Johnny smiled and said, an Obama fan. We're gathered together tonight to enjoy our fellowship, and I can't tell you how pleased I am to see such a large crowd. Tonight I'm announcing that I am a candidate for the county judge of San Jacinto County. And I think it's important that everybody knows a little bit about me. 1, I'm a Christian. 2, I'm a family man. 3, I'm a conservative. And 4, I'm a Republican. But make no mistake about it, I've also been a Republican since 1968, when I returned from Vietnam and saw how our country was being trashed. I kind of get tickled when I hear all the hue and cry today about the $6 trillion that Obama has spent. But where was the hue and cry when Lyndon Johnson took $6 trillion from our Social Security fund and put an IOU in its place and created our giant national debt? By the way, that fund today, had it not been extracted, would not require anybody to input to continue to pay every Social Security recipient in the United States. So we've been on a kind of a slow decline for a long time. And we've got to be aware of those things. The other problem that we've got is that the lines, they blur, they go back and forth. We used to see conservative Democrats and some liberal Republicans, and I guess everybody would like to just finally define the line, but it's really kind of hard to do. Sometimes you have to look and see how people are actually living, what they're doing. Look at their actions and pay attention to what their real leadership role is. Now, a lot of folks are unfamiliar with the role of the county judge. They know who he is, not really sure what he does. So I'd like to define it for you pretty quickly. The role of the county judge, 1, is to be the chief administrative officer of the county. And as Mike said, I've been CEO of 7 different companies through my career, which I think certainly qualifies me for the role of a chief administrator of our county. Secondly, in our county we have what is called a constitutional court. Now, many counties have what is called a statutory court, and those particular judges must be a lawyer. But in a constitutional court in Texas, you must not necessarily be a lawyer. And while we're at it, can someone tell me how many lawyers have been county judge in San Jacinto County since its history? 2. That's a surprising number, I'm sure. But if you'll take a look at it and then stop and listen and think. If someone says, oh, how can he run for county judge? He's not a lawyer. Well, he just indicted every previous county judge that's not a lawyer in this county. So pay attention to what's being said. I was very pleased last week to complete all of my work for probate judgeship. And by September, I will have also been brought up to speed on criminal and civil procedures. So within our constitutional court, we can ensure that we give fair and equal treatment to all of the citizens of our county. And the third role of the county judge is that of an ambassador for our county. For too long, we've been blaming our sheriff for not bringing in out-of-county prisoners when we built this very nice jail with a big overcapacity. But the truth is, the role of the sheriff is to be an administrator of that department and to administrate also the law and order of the county. The role of the ambassador of this county is the county judge's responsibility. They're the ones that reach outside the county and mingle and talk with the other county judges and the other government entities. They're the ones that are putting together the partnerships between business and schools to attract business and to train kids. That's what the real role is. It's a leadership role. And it's one we're not having in our county at this point. And it's one that I feel I'm very, very capable of working with all of these groups. So, based on all of that, one would look and say, well, certainly qualified, but why should I vote for you? Well, the truth is, our county has got a pretty sordid past. Makes it difficult to go into another county and talk to them about San Jacinto County, because what they remember is not what we did lately, but they remember this a lot. The Terror of '59. You know, most counties have nice books written about them, and they're usually history books. This is an indictment on a real scheme, and that's been written about our county. What we're going to have to do is to actually instill true ethics in our operation of county. Not only do we need transparency among our candidates and our elected officials, but we're going to have a standard of ethics that rises above that. We've got to take that headline and make that a thing of the past, because we can't change yesterday. But we can certainly change tomorrow by being a shining example for all of the other counties in this area. And I think once we do that and we start talking with other counties, we're going to find that they have the comfort level to bring their prisoners to us and let them house secure. And suddenly now that program is going to work positively for us. But those are areas that we're going to have to work for. And this campaign is truly an area of looking to see what we've got to do to find solutions and actually do it. Now, I look around and I see some folks that I recognize that have actually challenged us to go out into our community and to mingle and talk and find out what's going on. And I was challenged at one point and then mentioned, be careful now when you go out there. Everybody's got a different agenda. And what I found out was that all those alleged different agendas had one agenda. They were looking for leadership. They were looking for unity. The agenda that was the problem was sitting right there in Coldspring. What they loved was to stir the pot. And that's exactly what's happening. If you look at what our founding fathers did, they came from a monarchy. They know what it's like to live under a king and a queen or a dictator. And so they sat down to write a document. And that document's called the Constitution. And that Constitution ensured one thing. The power does not come from the top down. The power comes from we the people up. I see an awful nice large crowd here with a lot of good eyes and faces and hungry people looking for ethics and honesty and integrity. But it's also going to take unity. Because the united voice of we the people is twice as loud as any dictator on earth. Every politician, their biggest fear is that the voting bloc will get together and go for a common goal. They can either join it or they lose it. But we the people have the power. And we have the ability through unity to just take these folks and let me calm here. I'm not naive enough to realize that they're just going to change overnight. Those folks that are bent on finding fault are going to continue to do that. That's what their agenda is. That's what their commitment is. That's who they are. But we no longer have to bow to that. When we the people unify and move forward, then what happens is they become irrelevant. And progress is made. Integrity comes back. Transparency in government is there. Honesty in business practice and true ethics is there for all of us. That's why I'm running for county judge tonight. And I start tonight working with each one of you. And I hope that you'll join me in this campaign as we move forward. Bring your friends, your neighbors, and let's do this. Let's make this change. It's not about me. This is about you. This is about your opportunity to demonstrate the true power of we the people. You know, the only reason a king, queen, or a dictator exists is if we allow it. And tonight, you can make a big difference. And over this next period of time, we can work together and we can get our county well respected again. Thank you so much tonight.